So have you ever been in that spot where you hear someone talk and you think, oh, for sure, that's an Australian accent, only to find out they're actually from New Zealand? Hey, it happens to the best of us. Let's finally crack this code and figure out how to tell these two awesome accents apart. And honestly, this is the perfect place to start. This question from a Reddit user really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? For a lot of people, these accents can sound incredibly similar. So if you've ever felt a little lost trying to tell them apart, you are definitely not alone. So why is it so tricky in the first place? Well, the thing is, the confusion makes total sense. New Zealand English basically grew out of Australian and British English back in the 19th century, so you could say they're very, very close cousins. And those family ties run deep. I mean, we're talking about pretty much identical spelling, which follows the British style, the same rules of grammar, and a huge chunk of their everyday words are exactly the same. So no wonder it's tough to tell at first listen. All right, so let's jump into the easiest, most straightforward way to spot a Kiwi, the unique words and slang they use. Yeah, the main language is the same, but some of these everyday words are a dead giveaway. Okay, here's the absolute classic example. In Australia, if you're going to the beach, you're wearing thongs on your feet. But head over to New Zealand, and those exact same things are called jandals, which is a cool mashup of Japanese sandals. So if you hear someone say jandals, you're almost certainly listening to a Kiwi. And here's another great one. That insulated box you take on a picnic. In the US or UK, it's a cooler. In Australia, you'd probably call it an esky. But in New Zealand, it's a chili bin. It's these little unique words that are your first big clue. Now, this one can really throw you off. If a New Zealander says, I'm just running down to the dairy, they're not heading to a farm. Nope. The dairy is their local corner store. You know, the place you go to grab milk, a newspaper, or some snacks. And let's do one more iconic Kiwi word, bak. It's pronounced just like batch, and it's basically a small holiday home, often a pretty simple cabin near the beach. So if you hear someone talking about spending the weekend at their bak, you know they're getting away from it all, Kiwi style. Okay, slang is a fantastic clue, but let's be real, people don't use slang in every single sentence. To really, truly master this, we have to dig a little deeper. We need to get into the real secret weapon, and it's all about the vowels. And this is the big question, right? When you have a Kiwi and an Aussie just talking normally without using any of those special giveaway words, how on earth do you tell them apart? Well, the answer is this amazing thing that linguists call the Great Kiwi Vowel Shift. And you know what? This Reddit user absolutely nailed it. The phrase fish and chips is like the ultimate test. It's got the perfect sounds to highlight the biggest pronunciation difference between these two accents. So here's how it works. That short I sound, like in the word fish, it kind of flattens out and moves towards a U sound. So fish becomes fush, and chips becomes chups. Seriously, once you hear it, you can never unhear it. It's that distinct. But it's not just that one sound. It's actually a whole chain reaction, as you can kind of see here. The vowels are all playing a game of musical chairs. So the E sound in bet starts to sound more like the A in bat. Meanwhile, the I sound in bit moves into the space that bet just left. It's a total shuffle. It's subtle for sure, but that shift is the true heart of the Kiwi accent. But we're not done yet. There is one final, incredibly important ingredient that makes the New Zealand accent so unique. And that's the powerful influence of Te Reo Māori, the language of the indigenous people of New Zealand, which is also known as Aotearoa. Just look at this number. Around 1,000 Māori words are now a common part of everyday New Zealand English. That's huge. This isn't just borrowing a few words here and there. It's a deep integration that is a fundamental part of the country's identity. You just won't hear this in Australia. So you'll hear kia ora all the time as a way to say hello. You'll hear vanu when talking about family. And here's a key tip. In Māori, the WH is pronounced like an F, so it's whanau. Words like kai for food or pakeha for non-Māori New Zealanders are just woven right into daily conversation. Whew. Okay, we've gone through a lot, from slang words to tricky vowels and cultural influences. So now let's pull it all together into a simple, handy guide you can use next time you're playing Spot the Kiwi. All right, here it is, your 3-step cheat sheet. First, just listen for those unique words we talked about. Easy enough. Second, really tune your ear into the vowels. That's the big phonetic clue, right? Is it fush and chups? And third, listen for the natural use of Maori words. If you can tick these boxes, you could be pretty darn sure you're hearing a Kiwi. So the next time you're watching a movie or you meet someone new from that part of the world, put your new skills to the test. Listen for the jandals, listen for the fush and chips, listen for the kia auras. Now that you're in on the secret, can you hear that awesome, unique Kiwi difference?